Hello HEMA friends and welcome to this new video. Today I am going to review the new version of the Sparring glove. Now, Sparring gloves made a new version of their standard glove, let's call it. There are a couple differences which are related mainly to the wrist and the forearm protection, whatever you choose. But there is also a little difference which is not specified, in my opinion, which is related to the hand, which improved a little, in my opinion, in the shape, at least compared to the three old versions of the glove I own and used back in the days and still using nowadays. Now let's start from the secondary aspect, in my opinion at least, which changed, which is the cuff. So there is a thicker layer of this kind of material, whatever it is, this kind of rubber or whatever, which of course gives more protection, which is of course always welcome. I personally didn't had any problem with the old version of the cuff in terms of thickness and protection. I mean, it's better to have more protection, whatever, the weight is more or less the same, so there is no difference in this sense. So it's a welcome changing. But the most important thing which changed, I will say, is this band instead of this elastic band instead of the lacing, the strings used to close the old version of the glove, which created a couple problems in many ways, I will say. And now we have this kind of far more convenient way of keeping the glove close and tight, actually, which is far better. It is very comfortable to wear and unwear the glove. So this, in my opinion, is very welcome. I really enjoy it. And now let's talk about the second aspect which changed, which is the wrist. And it is, I will say, the main aspect of the old Sparring glove which gets criticized every now and then. Now, the old Sparring glove has only basically plastic bands which are overlapping a little, which protect your wrist. There is not a lot of protection. If you get hit in certain angles and your fencing doesn't take in consideration that you have this weak spot, you may have problems. Now, I never, ever, ever in the last 5 or 6 years, I'm using Sparring gloves since 2018, I never had problems. Like maybe at the very beginning I received a couple hits and then nothing. So in my opinion, it's a non-issue. But of course, some people criticized it, I will say, and they may be right, especially if you have a style of fencing which exposes a lot the forearm and you land a lot of zwerkaus and similar actions which keep the arms close to the opponent and exposed for a lot of time. So this may be a problem. And so this version of the glove basically solves this kind of problem. But of course there is a cost for it. And the cost is that there is lesser mobility in general compared to the old version of the glove, in a sense that this kind of movement is, I will say, lesser comfortable and you have lesser range of movement in this sense. Especially, you have also lesser movement in this sense, but I would say, who cares in the greatest majority of the cases when you are fencing, but still you have to consider it. So you have lesser mobility, even if you use them a little and the glove started to loosen up a little, still there is this kind of difference. So there is lesser mobility in exchange for more protection for the wrist. This is the trade of this kind of glove. So what is my general opinion in relation to the glove? I consider it an improvement, especially for this elastic band. I would love to see it in, I will say, every single Sparring glove, honestly. I don't really enjoy the wrist. So the wrist has, anyway, a very important thing which improved, and it is the quality of the cut-proof material with which the wrist had been made. This is something that I would love to see in the old version of the glove, funny enough, not in this one, because I, personally speaking, don't really like this lack of mobility compared to the old version of the glove. So it's a big thumb up for the material used, which is very good, yeah, an improvement, and I will say that it will make the glove a little bit more durable compared to the old version of the glove, but at the same time, this lack of mobility compared to the old one is not, it's something that I don't really like. Now, it seems to me that inside of this wrist there is of course some kind of padding between the layers of the cut-proof material. I can feel it just by, let's say, pressing it a little. So this is what creates the improved level of protection, which is clearly improved because I tested it personally. But at the same time, again, it is what makes for the lack of mobility compared to the old version. Personally speaking, I will say that the best idea would be to have this cut-proof material on top of the old version of the glove to keep both the pros of the two versions of the gloves. On one side we have a little bit more durability, which honestly is welcome, and in this kind of glove especially, I basically destroy a pair of gloves in 1 to 1.5 years on average, because I fence a lot. And maybe increasing to 2 years would be very cool for me, honestly. Anyway, yeah, so this is the main thing. But at the same time, on this version, with this new padding and lesser mobility, I think it's not very good for my style of fencing. Oh, and I forgot the little thing which I think is changed, which is the hand now has a shape which covers a little bit more your fingers. So it just closes a little bit more in front your fingers and gives a little bit more protection to your fingertips, basically. And while closing the glove in this new version, compared to the old ones which I have, you basically cover a little bit more the palm of your hand because of this new shape. I think that this improved. It is not specified, but it's different from all the versions of the glove I have. So either it's just pure chance, but I suspect it is not. I suspect the shape is slightly different and it is improved in this sense. This is my opinion at the very least. It is not specified on the website. And yeah, so my overall opinion of the glove is that it's improved in a number of aspects. The protection is overall improved. There is a trade-off for it, which is a lack of mobility on the wrist, which is one of the main things I like of this glove. One of the main motivations I go for sparring gloves compared to others. The two motivations I use sparring gloves are more feeling in the hand because of the way in which it is made inside, so you don't have a lot of material here, and so you can feel and move your sword with your fingers a little bit more compared to other gloves, in my opinion. And of course the wrist, the mobility of the wrist, which in this version is lacking a little. That's why I enjoy the improvements, but it's not my sparring glove, so it's not my glove. I don't really enjoy it. Plus, it's orange. I don't know why Barbara sent me an orange glove. Who knows? Anyway, so I will never use it for this simple motivation. But otherwise, I will go for most probably another standard glove in the future, because this one, it's not what I am in search for when I buy a sparring glove. Very good, people. I hope you will find this video useful in some ways. Thanks for watching as always. Remember to check my Patreon link in the description if you want to support me and the channel. And as always, see you next time.